walking around. He just left you a picture to let him know he thought of us. He'll be right with us. It's me and Dr. V, Mark Friedman, Just American Citizen, Dr. V, and Dr. V Talks. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dr. V Joe Talks. We're ready to rock here. We are live, Dr. V. It just
Live.
happened. It just happened. What are you going to do? So we're going, we're cooking. We're happy some people are joining us early. We're coming in. We want to talk. We're going to do our midweek update. We had a major Mike. We're with you, baby. Thanks for coming on. We went on. We went on last Sunday. We had a great one. Now we're coming in here. Our midweeks are a little different because we really start hitting some stuff. Goody Spartacus. Because one thing I want to hit, you saw the title, right? What's the title? The title is the American economy in trouble, and is the Trump administration hurting it or helping it? For the last how many months have I been saying, and you've been agreeing, the economy is in trouble? After the election, said it right away. We got a problem. He was talking tariffs immediately. Tariffs went right in. Tariffs started making inflation rock. Inflation is rocking. At the same time, people get nervous. Then they're laying people off, and they're sitting there on TV and they're going, oh yeah, not a problem. Plenty of jobs. We lay people off. Thank you for the thumbs up. We lay people off. It doesn't matter. There are plenty of jobs for everybody. You hear them saying that, right? Meanwhile, we've been saying, I know corporations that are out there laying people off on top of it, because when the federal government or somebody big starts laying off people, the other people start following and laying off people. It just starts rolling. It starts getting its own momentum, and people sit back and go, hey, it isn't that much. But then what happens? You start having people lose their jobs, and what don't they do? They don't buy. But what's interesting is the Journal had an article this week, the other day, saying I think it's the 10% of the people who have all the money in America do all the buying. Everybody else just kind of follows along. It was an article in the Journal or something like that. So as long as they got the cash, I suppose they're happy. And look how they're trying to make sure they got the cash. They got this budget rocking and rolling here. I mean, understand, we got inflation going up. We got an economy going down. Everybody's going to forget. We've been saying I'm not saying it has to be a depression. It can be stagflation, stagnant growth with inflation, or it could be a recession. Who knows? But we've been saying for a while, because it's been good relatively, it's going to feel horrible when it really starts hitting. And when you start seeing it, it's like a wave, like a tsunami that starts going out. These people lose a job. Then these people lose a job because these people who lost a job can't hire those people. Then this doesn't get bought. Then this doesn't happen. And it starts rolling. Then people start getting worried. Then people start getting mad. Then people start getting nervous. They're saying this is all a fake out with the congressmen are getting yelled at these I call them Tea Party 2.0 type stuff. It isn't. It's the real. And we're going to just really start seeing it as we move forward, because we've been calling it. And how anybody can sit back and think this is going to be a good economy? You're laying people off. You're cutting off money. Your grants are still cut off. What is it, 25, 30% right off the top? So now you got to come up, whoever your group is, has got to come up with all the money to be able to do something like this. All this is happening. Let me tell you, Spartacus, they sit there, and there's an article in the Journal today. I love it. You got to read the Journal. It's just too much. And it was an article, well, it was an op-ed written by the new Department of Agricultural Secretary, Brooks somebody. And she says, we're going to get those egg prices down in 3 to 6 months. Done. But let's ask, how are you going to do it, ma'am? Here's what she said. First thing she's going to do, she said that the Biden administration did nothing, but they have this lockdown type stuff that's been working most of the time. Even though it's been done during the Biden administration, they're going to continue it, and they're going to back it. But the Biden administration had nothing to do with it. It was just happening. The Biden administration was a way to shut down these chicken areas, the coops, so they can't get in to clean, take care of it. No, that's done. Okay. Next thing she's going to do, she's going to give $400 million to help all these people. Really? How about all these farmers who are sitting out there and put all this cash down and are getting nothing? And this is the best part, though, Dr. V. She said we should put maybe vaccines in the chickens to
Yeah,
make
I
sure
heard
they don't
that.
get the
Yeah,
swine flu. Now,
yeah, that's
tell me
good.
if I'm
Vaccinate
missing
the
something.
chickens. That's
Right
good.
now, right. Tell me if
That's a
I'm
good
missing
one.
something. You
Does
got
the
in
dog get
Texas,
autism?
right. Chicken autism. Excellent. You got these kids getting measles in Texas. One just died.
Yeah,
You
one
got
died.
them down there in New Mexico. You have a head of a Department of Health and Human Services saying that vaccines are jive. But at the same time, you got the head of the USDA saying, oh, you don't have to shoot up the vaccines. You'll just eat them. When you eat the eggs, it'll come through the chicken to the egg. You don't have to worry. Those vaccines will be fine. Now, the
What
other,
comes first, the vaccine or the egg? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. But I mean, look at the hypocrisy going on. They're not going to have this. If it works, it works. You know, one thing they're not doing is what Trump's doing legal. It gets stopped by the courts, hopefully, Kathy. We'll see. I think a chunk of what he's doing is legal. It's all a matter of what we've accepted and gone with. It depends. It depends on how these agencies were established, Dark. But at the same time, a chunk of it is legal. The question is, do people want to see it? And it's not that it's legal. This is what people are forgetting. We've been saying it. You know, I watched Mr. Wonderful on TV, you know, from Shark Tank, your guy, Mr. Wonderful. Number one, what is he, Canadian? He ain't even American, I don't think. And he's in there, he's going, chop, chop, chop. He had like the special robe on the other night. He was on CNN, like his robe. He's like happy. I think they're all happy about this big tax break they got coming. And he
Tax
said, you
break,
can
sure.
just chop, 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 chop. That's what I do. I get into a company, I just chop, 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 chop. But he forgets that that's for profit companies. And you feel bad for the people, but that's a business. Government is for the people. It's to help the people. So look out for the people. Yeah, you got a lot of problems, but we've been pulling them out. Al Gore pulled out lots of the problems. Other people pulled out lots of the problems. You don't just do it by just chopping away and then saying, whoops, I'll figure this one out tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Who needed the guy for the nuclear? And you see all this going on. They won't even talk to people about the bird flu. They won't do any of it. So I'm wondering what's going on. There ain't much going on. Let me tell you, as all this goes and the economy gets worse, I want everybody to remember the economy's getting worse. The economy's getting worse.
Well,
It's getting worse. What?
we're into data here. What is the indication the economy is getting worse? And let me give you some examples. I mean, stock market's down just a little bit, but the
Forget
price of
that.
gas is not any higher now than it was when he was first
With
came into
Biden.
office.
With Biden. That was that Biden had gotten it down. So it was there,
Well,
and we
I'm
had
saying
talked.
since January 20th, since
Right,
Trump took the oath of office, the price of
right.
gas has not gone up.
It
It's
stayed the
down a
same.
penny or two.
Because we said, if you remember, back when we were talking about this, was that we're already drilling, baby drilling, and we're just pumping gas out there. And he said he's going to drill more and try to bring the price down, and he can't bring the price down because the Saudis and the other guys, the Russians, don't want the price to come down, so they'll put it out there. Because now the Russians, all they have to do is write a $5 million check to get a gold Visa card to move into America and get in line to be an
Yeah,
American.
what is
Have you
that?
ever, what? You
What
didn't
is that
see
all
that?
about? Yeah, the gold Visa card. Just you pay somebody, then you can come in to the country.
Look, they take this stuff for doing this kind of, of course, wait a second. I'm going to I haven't seen the other thing with Kathy. Well, I'll get to you. I'm sorry. I just hadn't seen it. Let me finish that, Joe. So what they do, where were you, Joe? I was looking at Kathy there. What were you saying quickly?
Say, you mentioned the gold Visa card. Maybe you can
Oh, yeah,
explain to
right.
people what's that? What
Right.
that?
In immigration, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get in people who are highly technical or can fill spots that we need, people who want to become Americans but are really smart or are really hardworking or whatever. I don't know what the reasons are, but to bring them in, okay? But when you just start saying to people, write a check and you can come in here, they have something else. I think it was $1 million. You can get a visa or something like that. But here he's talking 5 million. You can just wander into America. And look what's going on. Who is going to wander in? The Russians? I got nothing against the Russians. I like the Russians, but Putin's a thug. And as we look at what Trump's doing, I mean, You want to talk about another reason prices are going to go up? Because we're going to lose our markets in Europe. It ain't going to matter. Trump is just sitting there going, hey, look, I love this country. This is nothing against the MAGAs. This is just, hey, what happened? Drill, baby, drill ain't happening, Spartacus, because they can't make money. So that's why they're not drilling that hard right now. They're not going to go anywhere with that. So right until others, stop pumping, put theirs out there, because they do not want the prices to go down. They owe money to people. They got to pay money to people. It doesn't work. It's not like the old days. But you sit there, you go, now we have Europe. Europe was a major trading partner. They're almost as big as we are. They're gigantic, not almost as big. I mean, they're big. They're much bigger than Russia, which is a gas tank.
Sure.
They're much bigger than anybody else except for China. And we could deal with them. And now look what's going on. If you're Europe, you want to deal with us? Look, you'll make a deal. I sit there and I watch what's going on with Zelensky. And Trump's I'm watching Fox, and Fox is sitting there going, yeah, what a deal, what a deal. We're getting their minerals. And I'm sitting there going, really? That's called extortion. That's called surrender. That's called, I've never seen anything. Yes, I have. It's called Chamberlain in 1937 or 38. But people don't know about that stuff. It's called appeasement. What are you letting Putin do this for? You're rolling over, and then you go, but at the same time, I want you to give me all this money. And you hear these guys go, well, we gave 300 million. No, we didn't. We've given them like 100 million or 120 million. A chunk of it went to our companies to buy them the weapons. So you sit there and then look at all this. So these prices are just going to be working up, because now over in Europe, they're going, oh my gosh, I got tariffs coming. I got this. I got to raise it. They're saying here prices are going up everywhere. All you have to do is look, cruise around. So when you have a president who's saying out there, I'm going to lay everybody off because it's all horrible. You heard your girl, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she of the Jewish lasers, didn't you? She says all federal employees don't earn any money. Well, she's
one.
telling the truth. She is.
She's
just a blowhard.
Exactly.
And she sits there and she goes, oh, what is she getting paid for? To be a liar? I'm still waiting for the Jewish space lasers. I've been holding back here. Getting nervous I may get shot. So you see that, you go, hey, but I will. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I know this stuff. I mean, I love this stuff. You do it, but I love it because I love American history. But let me ask you this as we're going along with this new budget, babe. This is what I love. Hey, it's the debts, it's too high. Trillions, you hear it, trillions. They're everywhere. So they pass a budget yesterday that's going to raise the debt another $4 trillion. Think about that. Wow. Why? Because we're going to grow out of the debt. So we just take on more debt. And where's that debt going to go? That money's going to go to the people who have all the cash.
Yeah.
Okay? So you sit there and you go, wow, isn't that great? You're going to get the tax deal.
I don't understand this. When the Democrats are in control, Republicans are all about balancing the budget. But as soon as they get in control, they don't worry about balancing the budget anymore. What is that all about, Mark?
What? They're talking about it. They're sure talking about it. But they ain't doing nothing.
To balance the budget when the budget is already in the hole a couple $1 trillion.
Yeah, but you're going to pump another. But what they want to do with this budget bill is pump trillions more to make it higher, and you're going to take 800 million out of Medicaid.
How is the budget getting balanced? If you look at the tax cuts, it's way in excess of what they're bringing in for income taxes, for taxes. How is that supposed to be a balanced budget? There's no way it's a balanced budget.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, it is? How?
Wait a second. Yes. You're taking $4 trillion that you're putting on top, and you're taking 800 billion from Medicaid, and you put it together, and it balances.
Oh yeah, well, it's magic.
It works. It works because they say it works.
It works.
Right? Isn't that great? But this is the best part. It's going to be that's not good. It's horrible because it's going to be red states that get smacked here. It's the rural areas that get smacked. When Medicaid gets shut down, Indiana's got 500, 600,000 people in Medicaid. How are they going to pay for that? They're just going to let these people out there Out in rural areas, Medicaid pays for a hospital. They make sure you got a doctor out there. They make sure you got medicine. Things are going on. What happens when those places shut down because nobody's out there, because there's no profit to be made? Because after all, isn't that what happens? No, he can't, Kathy. After all, isn't that what it is? I mean, that's where we are. Think about it.
Jeremiah makes a really good point that a lot of people, I think, buy, that they think of Medicaid as going to poor people. Since I'm not a poor person, heck with them. It's not, they should go to work and make more money. Can you explain why Medicaid is not just for poor people? Why it's a good thing for us to do that?
It's good for kids. It covers kids, all these people. Think about American kids, okay? That's how I look at it. It's Americans. So you got
People with
American
disabilities,
kids, and
people who are
Medicaid covers
children.
the children, right? And so they don't make enough money, the poor kids at 4 years old. What, you want them out there cutting beef at one of these places? Come on. It's child labor laws, I hope never go away. So you look at this and you go, the kids aren't going to be covered. What's going to happen when those kids aren't covered? That's the best. That's what's incredible, because they think it's going to cost less. These kids get sick, something happens, it'll cost more to take care of them. It'll cost more to do everything we got to do, because we won't have productive members of society at that point. We can't do this to the kids. We can't do the kids. Come on. It's just too much.
Why did
Obama
combine
it?
Medicaid and Medicare? I don't think
That
you
happened
understand.
later.
Medicare is for people 65 and older. Medicaid is for people like children, people who are disabled, or people who are in poverty.
Right.
I just want to ask people this, because this has me wondering. This weekend at Penn State University, college students packed into the basketball arena and danced for 46 hours to raise money for the kids, for cancer research, for cancer treatment. And it was glorious to see these college students enthusiastic to help people who needed support, who needed help. That's what human beings are all about, is helping each other. And they were joyful in doing it. And watching it, I almost got tears in my eyes seeing the love that they put out there to help their fellow human beings who are less in a good position than they were in. People dealing with cancer, people who are poor. When did this country become so callous that we punch down all the time? That we
Because
go
we got to
after
be
the people who
tough.
don't have resources and take what little resources they have
Because
away, so we can
because
put it
it's
in the
me.
pockets of the people who already have billions of dollars?
Because it's
When did we
me.
become that country?
We've always been that way. It's me. Government used to get in the middle. McLean, what happened was Obamacare is both Medicare and Medicaid. Okay, but they're two separate programs with two separate set of rules. But Obamacare helped because it does cover kids, Jeremiah. Of course they are. Of course they are. They're covered. Okay, but Medicare is here, Medicaid is there, but it's covered by insurance. Obamacare. That's what it was. So now when you yank it and you say no Medicaid, because what happened was the federal government said if the states take a lot of this on, the federal government will pump money into the states, so the states will take care of the people. Now the federal government's saying we're going to cut it off. Well, if you cut it off and it's like 60 or 70%, what happens to the kids? And that's the problem there. And at the same time, you're cutting off Medicaid. I don't want to get so deep into the weeds, because essentially what's happening is they want to pass a bill that raises the cap $4 trillion, that gives incredible amounts of money to the rich people and takes the money from people who can't afford it. It's going to be horrible. And let me ask you this. I ask this all the time. Where's there anything for housing in there? Have you heard these people come up with any idea for housing? There's some guy at the head of HUD, I think, who talks football. He was an NFLer. We're going to go over the line or something. I'm not listening. They get rid of, they still want to sell Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Have they done anything for people with housing? Has it made it easier for people to get a house? No. Have they been able to bring that? It's because the whole thing, the interest, inflation was kind of under control. It wasn't going up as hard anymore. It was kind of there, okay? Trump has come in and dropped a grenade on it by talking about tariffs, which made people get nervous, made raise prices by getting rid of people from working. So now these people aren't going to have the money. Prices are going to be up. They can't afford it. What are they going to do? It's just going to, he's destroying the economy. And if you listen to him, he knew it. He doesn't deny it, Joe. He said and Musk said, oh, the first 2 years won't be that good. Well, when you're a billionaire, it doesn't matter if it's that good. You can do what you want to do. And if the numbers don't work, they don't work. You just write a check. What I don't understand is why we have a system, well, a system, you talk about it's not illegal, but sure, ethically, you just see we're like, you know, Melania's getting like 70% of her $40 million advance by Amazon. I mean, so they're paying her big money. They got those meme coins. They put all this stuff out, those souvenir coins, and all they do is put money in their pocket. But I don't see them taking that money. They're making it and helping people. It's all for them. It's all capitalism. It's all raw capitalism now. You listen to them on TV. Nobody's talking about Americans. Nobody. And what Trump's great at is he's good at a lot of things. What he's great at is separating people and taking a position and getting other people to think, well, we only care about America here. I only care about the American people here. And that's where we're going with it. What are you seeing there, Joe? You seeing stuff there?
Well, yeah, people are feeling like they put a lot of money into the system, and it goes to poor people and immigrants. It doesn't go back to them, and so they want to cut everything. And I ask, what about all the money going to the billionaires? Do people feel comfortable with that? What about the money that's going to subsidize research for big pharma companies, or the money that's going to subsidize big farms, big agriculture? No one's worried about that. I think
Good.
Trump is masterful at deflecting attention. So he'll put in, there's no tax on
Tips,
if you get
tips,
tips.
tips.
Like people, like that's a big deal. What
To
he's
some
done,
people, it
people
is,
need
but it
to
won't
take a
work.
step back and look at the big picture. Who is going to pay taxes now? So the IRS has got it, but who's going to pay the taxes? The people who get paid through W-2s, because the money
Right.
comes out automatically. Well, the computers can keep track of that, but the people who own their own businesses, people who get paid cash, there's going to be so many loopholes in the system, either natural or people can just get away with it because no one's watching them anymore. Those are the folks who are not going to pay taxes.
Right.
And is that the kind of fair government that we want to have in this
Yes, of
country?
course it is,
Oh, of
because
course
we
it is.
believe in unfettered capitalism. That's the way it should be. It shouldn't matter. Look, the thing is, you got a leader who's getting people to believe he cares about them, and he doesn't care about them. He only cares about himself. Look at the money he's putting into his pockets. I mean, right on. If you could do it, right on. Okay, I'm not saying it's illegal. I think it's unethical, but I don't see him putting that money in people's pockets the same way. Where is it going? This tax deal ain't going to help people. It's not going to do bupkis for people. And you talk about money going to immigrants. A lot of it went, but a lot of immigrants who live here have been pumping taxes into America and don't get anything back from it. Have been pumping taxes in and don't get their Social Security back from it. Do you think about all that? I mean, you've got that there. It goes both ways. But yeah, people are hurt. Yeah, people have every right to be bummed. That's the way it should be. But don't be split up and let the people at the top split us up, because they're making the money and they're letting us sit there and try to go after the pennies at the bottom and just yell at each other and bang each other. And that's what we can't do. And we have to understand it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But Patricia, I love you. Offer me help, Patricia. Seek help. What are you talking about? We're there. We love it. This is great. This is First Amendment. This is emotion. This is fun. You hear emotion on Fox. You don't hear emotion on CNN, MSNBC. You hear emotion here. Even Joe got emotional on Sunday. Don't forget, We got our Sunday show every 11 o'clock Eastern, every Sunday. Gosh, that a show where we guys got a zillion people coming, having a great time. And please go to Just an American Citizen, subscribe and comment. And then Dr. V. Joe Talks, and we're rocking there. So as we keep going, and that's where we are with this, okay? Eric, they're all making money. Eric, the kid, Junior. I mean, you look at this, and they're just pumping it. It's just, who's giving $40 million a week to the Taliban? Who's doing that? Is Trump doing it, Mike? Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, that's pretty sick. If Trump's pumping $40 million a week to Taliban, that's like, whoo. I mean, after all, didn't Trump let out 4,000 criminals who were killers from jail in Afghanistan, and then offered to bring the Afghanis to Camp David? Taliban to Camp David and talk to them. It really makes you wonder. He is into them. He's into the Taliban. He's into a little over at North Korea. He loves the killer and the destroyer, Putin, who doesn't care about anybody or anything except himself, loves all that. But then Zelensky's dirt, right? So you got to wonder, when you look at this, where did we stand in all this? Where do American people, does he like you? I mean, can you say the right thing? I don't know. Go ahead. I see you ready to talk.
I mean,
hit it hard. Get emotional.
Mark, you have a lot of videos where you talk about the axis of evil. North Korea, China,
Iran
and Russia. How come we're voting with that block of countries now when it comes to the resolution at the UN? Someone said it before. America first is turning into America alone.
Michael, what is that saying? You're not saying anything. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
wow, he's a crier.
Is that going to be the legacy of this administration, that we've become isolated from our friends? How is that going to help the economy? And how does that help our respect across the globe? It used to be United States, if it said something, it had some moral imperative behind it. Not that we're perfect, but at least our ideal was for democracy, for freedom. And now I'm not sure what our ideal is. It's like every man.
Our ideal is money. You can't miss it. Meanwhile, Jeremiah, you're missing it. Your kids don't get Medicaid because you probably don't hit those categories that need Medicaid, okay? Kids don't just get Medicaid. It's people who didn't have money, kids who have to be covered. That's what it is. It sounds to me like you're a hardworking guy doing well. You have a nice family and you're cooking right on, but you don't get Medicaid just because you want them. There's Medicaid and there's Medicare when you get old. That's what we're talking about here. It's something totally different. And Trump, who's that? Ben's fixed Trump. I'm happy you love him. Right on. We're not after Trump. We're talking about America. As Joe said, I've been talking for years. I mean, there's a zillion of them, Just American Citizen, about how bad this axis was and how the entire American century was ending. How many of those did I do, Joe? I did those years ago, and people were laughing at me. And I'm going, it's over. People don't see it.
And
we're
now
getting
we're
away.
part of the axis of evil. How did that happen? I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed.
But he's like proud of it. And you got people who used to fight a guy like Putin, like the Secretary of State, who's probably going to write a book one day and go, well, I stayed in there because guys like me could like temper everything and really be able to help. What kind of BS? This is extortion. Think about it. They went up to Zelensky and said, you give me the money or else give me your minerals or else it's over. That is really great. How's that a friend? Let me ask you, if America is ever in trouble in the future, who's going to come to our aid? Does anybody out here, all you guys who love, all you guys who love all these people, let me ask you, do you have friends? Do you have friends? I mean, I'm not on you about it. You have friends because friends are important, because it's good to have friends. It's good to be able to talk to somebody. We've been friends for 53 years, Joe and I. It's good to have friends. To just take friends and flush them down the toilet, When you've had America with 80 some years with Europe, I mean, what sense does that make? When you're friendship, you could do things, you could talk, you could deal. But when you go in and say, you ain't my friend, this is the way it is, and this is the money I want. Mike, you're right, because the government is killing the people right now. This is the money I want, and then you're just a thug.
So
You're no more than a
is
thug.
Trump acting this way?
America.
It's almost like if I was to psychoanalyze the guy, and again I haven't examined him, so what I say carries no medical weight, but he's acting like because Biden was friends with some of the folks in Europe, it's like it hurt his feelings, so he has to show that they're bad. He has to destroy that relationship. I mean, Mark, if you made a friend with Skip, I wouldn't be upset with you. That would be fine. I'd be happy for both of you. But because you make a friend with Skip, now all of a sudden I can't be friends with Skip anymore. That he's a terrible guy.
Yeah, but if Skip was broke in your house and lit a fire to your house and destroyed it, okay, and I was friends with him, what would you say then? So I mean, it's that's
There
what
you
the
go.
problem is here. So Trump's coming in here and he's just dealing with these killers, thugs, people who don't care. It's all because to him it's transaction. He thinks they care. You think Putin is playing Trump? Putin
Yeah.
is making Trump look so bad. That's what the problem is. Trump's really just not good. There's no art of the deal here. You sit down, people don't want to hear about it. You show me what he's doing. This Gaza thing ain't happening. You got he thinks he's going to separate Putin from Xi on China. That ain't happening. Those two guys are having a great time. How many videos did I have saying we should have gone to China years ago and dealt with China, okay? Because they are worth dealing with. Not Russia. What does Russia offer? You got no infrastructure. They've got nothing except killers, and they empty their prisons to kill, and they got gas and oil. That's all they got. We're going to bring in Americans. We're going to go there. You're going to put your money in there and build something when Putin can just take it from you and then put you in jail and disappear again. And a guy who put all these Americans in jail because he didn't care, just put him in jail. It doesn't matter. No, you see, there's no such thing as transactional. What have you lost by losing friendship? I don't know how you put a number on that. And that's what everybody thinks. Some people have gone on TV, Joe, and gone, man, people respect us, respect America. No, they don't. They think America's a joke.
It showed a lot of
Thinks
respect when they
America's a
booed the
joke.
national anthem the other day. That was a
Right,
lot of respect.
right. Everybody thinks we're a joke. Putin thinks we're a joke. Xi thinks we're a joke. They're playing us like dogs. I mean, it's like roll over. I'll give you this. I'm waiting to see. We're going to hear about a Trump Moscow Hilton or something. I don't know. But you got this kind of stuff going on, and that's where it is. And people sit back, and he's really good at just throwing all this stuff out there, getting people upset and getting them separated. What we're trying to do is say, we're not separating. We don't care if you like Trump. You can like Trump all you want to like Trump. I don't care if you like Trump. Joe doesn't care if you like Trump. Speaking for Joe, I hope I'm right. Joe doesn't care if you like Trump. We're only talking ideas and we're talking about America. And you got to sit back and look at this and say to yourself, is this good? Is this good that some joker can go into the IRS and get all my tax information? Just go in and see it and then be able to write it. You can't tell me these guys can't take that info. And what did they do with that info? I see on TV is LifeLock. Why would anybody get LifeLock? To protect your identity. Why would anybody get LifeLock? Doge has all your info. All game over. It doesn't matter. I see you duck, whatever for a browser. What are you hiding? It doesn't matter. It's there. Doge has it. They took it and nobody cares. And people seem to think that's good. How's that getting rid of fat? How's that getting rid of anything? And by the way, I'm still waiting to see all these thousands of 150-year-old people who are hanging out there sucking money out of Social Security. I'm still waiting to see that. You see, people forget it because he puts so much out there. He puts so much out there. Right, and then people forget about it and then try to do it. Okay? Anyways, Mike, Germany just passed law. You can't slow that. No, Mike, that's not, it doesn't work that way, Mike. You can't talk Nazi. That's what the rule is over there. You can't talk Nazi. And the guys that Vance went over to talk Nazi because Germany doesn't want to go back to Hitler. Look at Germany's history, Mike. If you looked at Germany's history, I'm not mad at you, but look at Germany's history. It was a whole bunch of little groups out there, always fighting with each other, doing this, doing that. And then really, we had a lot to do with making Germany have Hitler, because after World War I, do people remember? After World War I, they made Germany and I think a couple other countries have to come up with all of this cash.
Reparations.
Sounds like Ukraine. Have to come up with, except that Germany was the aggressor, have to come up with all this cash, and then they had nothing. You know the kind of inflation? I don't know if people know this in Germany, but during the Weimar Republic, look it up, Weimar, Weimar Republic, people took wheelbarrows of Deutschmarks into the store because they had to use them as fast as they could because they were worth less 10 minutes later. You okay? Everything okay?
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Still good.
Still good. We're worried. We're wondering
Still
if Dr.
good.
B if he has to save somebody. So far, we're okay.
So far, so good.
He's just trying to save me. Mike, don't be insulted. What are we? Don't be insulted. We're talking. I love you. I love you. I mean, it's just the way it is. Agnes, I haven't seen. I've been looking at Mike. I have to check it, but encourage violence and say he shouldn't say racist propaganda. He shouldn't say encourage violence. I haven't seen what Mike's done, but that's kind of the way it is. I'm not sure, but don't do it. But too bad Mexico and Canada. McLean, let me ask you something. Who made the deal with Canada and Mexico that we are under now? Trump. We had NAFTA.
Didn't you know that was a terrible, terrible deal?
Whoever made that deal was a great deal. I'm watching them last night when they signed it, like in 2020 or 20. I think it was 2020. The greatest deal of all time.
2017, I think.
Maybe 2017. The greatest deal of all time, Joe. It was the greatest deal of all time. And it should be. It has 2 more years to go. You negotiate, but nobody's saying that. Nobody's calling the president out and saying, you know, Mr. President, we're breaking the deal. They're not breaking the deal. They followed the deal. We're breaking the deal. So what's the issue and why is there a problem? Okay? And that's just what it is. And it's just, hey, it just doesn't make sense. Mike, racism is illegal. If it's used against people who can't get jobs or stuff like that. So it is, okay? Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, last. What does that mean? It means that we're in trouble. Ivan, that's exactly what it means. Okay? And I've been saying that for a while because when the killers, the thugs, though China isn't as bad as those 3, okay? China isn't as bad. I've been saying that for years. It's all right there. Just an American citizen, please check it out. Give us a subscriber, thumbs up. Dr. B. Joe Talks. I've been saying that for years, okay? That's what we have. We should be dealing with China, but we're just too late right now with this president who thinks he's just going to come and they're going to have a nice big cake when Xi comes over, have a nice cake, and they'll enjoy the cake, and they'll go back laughing. So you sit there and you see this, and you go, it's just not working. It's just not working. Agnes, we're very worried about you guys. We love Europe, and we're very worried, okay? We don't want it to turn into Hungary. We want it to, it's just not good. So far it's hanging in. The problem is America, and that's what we're trying to do, is try to understand why America thinks liking thugs, liking murderers, liking killers, and inviting them to this country, or even considering it, and thinking that they are better than the democracies, that really makes him so good and makes us. I don't understand what happened to our country. I just don't understand what happened to our country. But it is. We're old. We got to do it. We have old music. We make it happen. But there's like no question that we're right about this. There's just no question. And this I can't take. I appreciate you. Thanks for the thumbs up. I just can't. We're right. If America is going to back a thug, if America is going to back a killer, pushes people out of the window. Look at all the people he's killed. Hundreds of thousands of people. I love it. Zelensky's the bad guy. You know what? He took his nose and he hit Putin's fist with his nose. That's what he did. That's kind of started. And then they sit there going, well, NATO. You hear this guy Witkoff or whatever, the guy who's Secretary of Commerce. Oh, NATO. NATO did nothing. Who took the tanks and went into Ukraine, guys? If Putin stopped and pulled the tanks out, you think Ukraine would keep fighting? No. So who's making the war? It's Putin. And who's encouraging Putin? Trump. Because he's going to say, you can keep this, you can keep that, and then let our American businesses go in and get all the minerals from Russia. I want you to see all these people end up going to jail who had Russian oil and then ended up getting knocked out, all these British guys. It just got handled. It just got handled. Yeah, we act. Sometimes we do, Mike. I don't disagree. We do act like thugs sometimes.
And it's
But they're
wrong then, like it's
but
wrong
we're
now.
right, but we're not murderers. We don't push people out windows. We don't these days. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. We don't send hundreds of thousands of people to war to die, Mike. Think about that. Mike, did you grow up during Vietnam? I mean, we're in the mosh pit here. We grew up during Vietnam. We watched friends die going into a war that meant nothing, a war that only meant something to the people who were running it, not the people who were actually on the ground. The Vietnamese didn't want us there, and we didn't want to be there, but our kids were dying, getting killed, getting wiped out. Got to the point in Kent State we shot our own kids. Is that where we want to go? We don't do that, but that's what Russia does. Russia takes hundreds of thousands of people, sends them in, and lets them get killed. Who cares? North Korea, the young un, takes his guys, throws them in, gets them all killed. Who cares? Iran uses people to put in front of them to die so they get away with it, right? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Chinese are on the Uyghurs, and they're going to, the Uyghurs, I'm sorry, and wait till they take Taiwan. I don't think Taiwan's our problem, but I'll tell you this. They're going to be moving into Taiwan. Ball game's over. Trump ain't going to do nothing, and it doesn't matter, right? Where's the transaction there when we're suddenly not dealing with the Taiwan semiconductor? So you got all that going on. So where is it? Why do we deal with these thugs? Why don't we Israel? What do you want me to mention about Israel? I mentioned Israel complete, but Israel is not a part of the big group. This is America doing this, okay? This is America backing Israel and telling us this is America. This is America. And that's what you're missing. Don't go, you're letting Trump and the MAGAs, and I'm not on the MAGAs, I'm sorry, MAGA media, take it to go look it over here. It isn't this country or that country. It's America. It's America that took Ukraine and flushed them. It's America that's taken our European allies and flushed them. It's America. Okay? That's what's going on. And that's the bottom line. Those are the facts. So to blame others doesn't matter because we have our enemies. We know who our enemies are. And now we're joining our enemies, it looks like. We all party together. You talked about that big party at UPenn. I suppose Putin and Trump would be out there doing a barnyard dance together or something. You can just see it. Oh, we're buds. So that's where it is. That's a problem. Yeah, America's got a lot of bad history, but we're still the greatest country in the world. And now I'm getting nervous. Now I'm getting nervous because now we're standing up for the thugs of the world, the killers of the world. Those people who don't care about people, don't care about anything. That's the bottom line. It's horrible. Yeah, that's what it is, Kathy. That's exactly what it is. Okay, I didn't say you're a MAGA, Mike. I'm talking as a rule, the group. And I'm not after MAGA. You're missing it. I don't care if you're MAGA or not. I'm not MAGA. Joe's not MAGA. We're Phi. We were told we were beta. We're Phi. We want everybody to know that we are Phi. We are not MAGA or beta.
Those are our
We
letters.
are for
Those
Alpha.
are our,
Right. We are Phi. That's the bottom line there. So we don't care what names everybody goes by, and I'm not Mike Lindell. So as we play on with this, that's where the problem is, and that's where we have to go with it. You sit there and you go, it's not a shame, Agnes. It's sick.
Yeah, Agnes has been making a lot of good points in chat here, and she's warning us. She knows what can happen in a country where you get a strong man in there, and democracy gets squashed. You know, and that's what happened in Hungary, and that could be our future. So Agnes has some good points.
Well, I'm there. I'm agreeing with it. It says it all that we're standing with those countries. He loves Orban in Hungary. He loves Orban, Trump. Orban's his boy. So they sit there, they probably do their own little barnyard dance too. And you sit there and you're watching. These are the people who get together. This is the president of the United States. You got a vice president who goes in and talks to the party in Germany that talks about Nazism, that thinks that the Holocaust was a joke. Some of their leaders. Those are the people that Vance went and talked to. So you see one thing and then you see the other. It's such hypocrisy. It's incredible. And we are now forced to take all of our years, all of our history, everything we've built, all of our good work, all of our good works, all the friendships we made, and we have flushed them all down the toilet. We don't have one friend anymore. We
And
don't.
for what? And for what?
We
Because
have one.
Trump was
Right.
upset that they were friendly with Biden, so he has to prove a point. He has to get
He,
revenge on people.
he didn't like him before then, Joe, when he was in Helsinki in his first term, and he said that he believed Putin before the CIA and everybody. And let's hit this also, because we talked about this like about 3-4 months ago. So I want to get on the record again. Trump has destroyed our national security. All the CIA and FBI agents they got rid of, you can believe there are holes everywhere. And you have to assume that the Chinese and the Russians are jumping into our digital stuff, that they're just putting code in there. They were able to do it before we were looking at it, looking for it. Now they're just putting it in, and one day we're just going to get shut down. Something's going to happen. We are nowhere. Our entire defense is gone. We've got a guy, I mean, we had a really good Joint Chiefs of Staff guy, but Trump brings somebody out of retirement, and I'm sure he's okay. I hope he's okay. If to be some 3-star general who Trump said, I'll kill for you, and loved him because he wore a MAGA hat, though Bolton said he never wore a MAGA hat. So who knows? But isn't that pretty sick that that's the reason, a major reason you hired this guy? And everyone want to be warriors, like our fighters, like our army isn't warriors, like the Marines aren't warriors. I mean, I listen to Hegseth and these guys. So we are in trouble. I think we're in real trouble. We're going to get hit down the road. But before then, it's the economy. Give it 5, 6. What did I say a couple months ago, Joe? I said, by the end of the year, we're going to get frozen. We're going to get hurt. It's going to be not super vicious. I said, but it's been a lot better than everybody gives it credit for. And all of a sudden, people are going to go, I can't afford to pay for this. Yeah. I can't afford to pay for this. Wait till you see foreclosures start to sky. That's down the road because they still do workouts. So that'll stop when Fatty and Freddie get taken over. And I keep getting back to, where's the housing? Where's the housing, Mr. President? Where aren't you worried about people being able to get a house instead of just having to rent? What are you doing? How are you trying to get a house? I haven't heard one story about that, except they're just going to make everything, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're just going to put it out there. Everybody will make money and the housing will come back. The culture's going to grow out of it. That's what we're going to do. That's why we're raising another $4 trillion in this budget, because we're going to grow out of it. You grow out of it by doubling the amount of money you owe. I never thought about that. Did you ever think about it that way? I tell you, you're in trouble, and then you double it. It's like going to Vegas. Just double down. Put it on black or put it on red. Isn't that what it is? And say, yeah, I hope you hit it, babe. Goes the wrong way, you're finished. And that's where we are with this. But unfortunately, in this bill, as it goes and it turns, that money flies off to Bezos and Musk and Zuckerberg and all these guys. That's where it goes. And, I got nothing against them making money. Let's be upfront. We've always said it. They make money, right on. I got nothing against people making money. But when you're setting it up, you're going to have 10% up here and everybody else down here, that's not good for a country. That's not good for the people. That's not good for anybody. And it's just horrible that way. No, this marriage is just a huge push to be the greatest. Down the road, it just always happens this time. You saved to make it. Go America. Todd, I don't know what you're saying. We love America, but I'm sorry, it is different this time. So I didn't pick up what he was saying there, Joe. But I'm trying to jump in and see if I see somebody. I'm sorry. Lube up losers. That's really nice. We really don't cuss here. We don't do any of this kind of stuff, but nobody's losing. We're doing it. Good. McLean, 17 homes, baby. Right on. Okay. He's going to cook. I'd say, okay, McLean. Trump zigzag. What is, I don't know if that's what that thing is next to Trump there on zigzag.
Is that a gold medal or something?
Or is that a pineapple?
A pineapple or a gold medal, one or the other.
Well, yeah,
let
it's
us
his
know,
gold.
Zigzag.
Yeah, it's his gold visa. The people are paying $5 million to come in.
Right. Do whatever you want.
It's going to be craziness. It's going to be craziness. Drugs did you good? I don't know, man. I don't think drugs can help here. I don't think drugs can help here. Well, really smoke monger. But I just think we're there with that. But here, hey, that's what makes this fun. When you sit back and go, I just don't know. We're missing. And I keep reminding everybody, you're looking at the measles. You're looking at the measles. You're looking at the measles. Wait till more people get sick. 80% getting the vaccine. It doesn't work, does it?
Nope.
Doesn't work. Let me ask you this as we're going medicine, private. We got no private data. And of course, the rule of law. I'm still waiting to see that. Remember that, guys, as we go along. So you see what happened in New York with Eric Adams. You got to have to know somebody to get off now. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or innocent. If you're guilty or not guilty. The issue isn't innocent, it's not guilty. That doesn't matter. What matters is who do you know? And did you give the right amount of money to your politician? So when the politician knocks on the door and says, hey, back me up, you do it. And then you get your speeding ticket or this happens, you call them up, you go, help me out, will you? No problem. I know the judge. I'm going to tell the judge you're important. We need you. We can't afford to have you paying more money because we need you to take care of the roads in front of your house. So I'm going to tell them you're really important, and then it'll all be done. That's what's going on in New York. Everybody forgets that. I can't wait to see what this lawyer is going to say. Judge O brought this lawyer in to look at what's going on with it. But we all know everybody's quitting. 20-some guys quit those yesterday. Technical guys. Did you see it? Because they're going, this is all BS. Because it really is. Cleaning up is good and everything, but this is great for Trump because he's getting a couple things. He's getting Musk hated, and Trump gets to hide behind Musk. Musk is like a mask. It's like a Musk mask. It just puts it on. He goes, it's him. It's not me. I backed him. I didn't know he was that bad. Oh, my gosh. You're going to hear that down the road. I didn't know he was that bad, Joe. I backed him, but I didn't know he was that bad. So then it'll be his fault. But this is all the president, and this is all pushed by the president. This is what the president wants, and we have to accept it because they won the election. But you have to see that you are getting hurt, that you are going to lose health care, or many Americans are, that many Americans are going to lose their jobs, that many Americans aren't going to have the money to be able to buy food and stuff, that there are going to be issues to be able to pay debts. The credit card debt's going to go up at 24%, 25%. Just wait till you see that debt. How can people pay that? Think about that. People paying on their credit card, 25% is just going to keep rocking because how are you going to do it if you don't have a job? How are you going to pay it if you don't have a job? How are you going to do it if the guy who bought all your stuff can't buy your stuff anymore because he or she got laid off? Okay, it just kind of rolls. Free Diddy, yeah, I'm happy about Diddy. Brian, we don't lie, Brian. Tell me where we're lying. I see Joe, he's just smiling today mostly. So I don't see where any lies are coming there. I don't see any lies coming out of me. Where do you see a lie, Brian?
My point today is, what kind of country are we? Do we like to punch down the people who need help and give to rich people who already have stuff, or are we the kind of people who likes to help individuals who are less well off?
It's the
That's it.
former.
And
It's the
it
former.
sounds like the answer is we would rather just give money to people who already have power and screw the people who don't have any resources.
Of
That
course.
and that if that's who we are, I'm not very proud of that. I'm
But
not
we
very
but we
proud.
can trade. But we can trade. It'll work. It's transactional. We're making so much. We're making so much. I'm
It's
still
not
waiting to see
even
these
he's
new
not even doing a good
factories.
job of trading either. You don't trade your goodwill by pissing
Oh,
off somebody.
McLean, that's
You get
sad.
nothing back. It doesn't make any sense to me except that the guy's just incredibly petty.
He's not petty. He's looking to put money in his pocket. That's all he's
Well, that
doing.
too, that too. But he
That's it.
doesn't. He doesn't. He's not even being smart about that because what has he gotten by
Sure he
getting
is.
our
He's
European
cleaning up.
allies upset?
Joe, he's cleaning up. What are you talking about?
What
He's
has
a
he gotten?
genius.
What has he
He's a
gotten by getting
genius.
Canada upset with us and Mexico upset with us?
He doesn't care. He's making big money on his meme coins and the other stuff. And
Yeah,
he's
well,
going to make
that's
these other deals. And his kids are going to be making money. And his wife's going to be making money. And everybody in that whole group's going to be making money because that's all they do. They
but
just
don't
suck the money
Canadians have
in.
money? Couldn't they be buying his meme coins? None of them are going to buy it
Dude,
now.
look, the
They buy
Saudis,
sneakers too. He could be selling his sneakers in Canada.
But think about what happens, though. I'm with that, but think about what happens. You have these meme coins. You don't think Saudi Arabia is buying some of them?
Oh, of
You
course,
don't
yeah.
think, oh, sure they are. You don't think these other, just like they all stayed at the Trump Hotel in D.C.,
Right,
they're
right.
buying these coins. They're supporting these
It's
coins.
a way
How can
to
we
get
prove
money
it?
to
We
Trump under
can't.
the table.
What?
It's a way to get money to Trump under the table.
I mean, I can't prove it, but it sure looks like it, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's out there, and it's just opinion on our part. But I want him to show me how he ain't who's buying all this stuff. I mean, come on, these meme coins. It's got to be people supporting them, and you just sit there and you go. It's crazy. Washington Post today. Bezos came in and cut the opinion area of the Washington Post. Now it's only limited to free market and something else. And everybody else can't talk, and they can't talk about anything else. I love the Washington Post.
Yeah, I mean
I follow the
the free
Washington.
press is
I've
in
had a
trouble.
subscription.
If you don't
Let me
agree
tell
with
you.
Trump, you can't even follow him. You
I
get thrown out of the press court.
I I had subscription to Washington Post since Watergate. Watched it. We lived it at school, and when it was all happening, it was a great paper, and it's a great paper for years. It's Bezos. He has every right to do what he wants to do with it. Okay, but I held back canceling my subscription. But today, the top thing on the opinion area is about showers and how hard the shower pressure is. That's what the Washington Post has turned into. And I don't think I'm at this point thinking I'm not going
What
to.
was the newspaper that broke Watergate?
Well, the Times and the Post, but the Post is the big one because
Post.
the Times had what
They
had,
went from protecting democracy with Watergate to now they just bend over.
but it's his to do with as he pleases, and he owns it. I'm telling you, it's his right. I'm sick about it. It's his right.
No, no,
But they
no.
lost
A
200.
newspaper like the Washington Post is a public trust.
No,
It's been
no, it
around
isn't.
for a long time.
But the
He has a responsibility to the history of the paper to continue its good reputation,
He
and
has a
he's
responsibility
thrown
in
it
his
away.
pocketbook. That's what these guys are doing. Don't you understand? I know you're just being on the other side because you're a nice guy, but that's what it is. And we have to accept it. And it's his company. But now they lost 200 some odd thousand subscribers. They may lose me. Mine's for another couple of months. I'm going to watch it for another month or two and see if what happens. But it's like horrible. It's just, but it's his paper. So you see this stuff going on, and you go, this is what's going on here, and it's really not good. And that's why we're coming on. I don't care if we don't get a zillion people on Wednesdays, and I'm happy we get a zillion people on Sundays. I love it, those of you watching. Come on Sunday. We're rocking at 11 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. We just cook. So that's where we are with it. It's just a sad situation right now. And when people see that they're going to be, and it's just slowly happening, when all of a sudden there's going to be the food lines, and all of a sudden people are going to be out of jobs, and it's going to be your neighborhood, and your house goes down in value because the neighbors are in trouble, and all this stuff started. They can't pay to have their grass cut, so the grass will be everywhere. You're going to have all this stuff where it's going to be very interesting. And suddenly people who can't buy homes, they ain't going to be worried about buying one. They're just going to be worried about buying food. And the people who have the homes are just going to be happy that they can make their mortgage payments. And there's no plan. Just like they had that goofy plan for the eggs. It's no where they basically want us to take a vaccine through the chicken and we'll eat the egg. So cut that egg, break it up, and there's the Trump vaccine in the egg. That'd be tremendous. It really looked appetizing when I read it in the journal today. It just makes you want to buy it. 3 to 6 months, I got it all figured out. So you got that going on. I don't
Joe,
know.
I go to church before I come on at 11, so I do
God,
both. And in
I don't know what
my
you're talking
Christian
about.
church, it talks about helping the poor people. On the Sermon on the Mount, it doesn't say take money out of the poor people's pockets and give it to Caesar. It says help people that are poor, people who need clothes, you clothe them. The people who need shelter, you give them shelter.
It doesn't matter. That's yesterday. You got to be
That's
tough now.
yesterday. That doesn't
You
count
got to be
anymore.
tough. Todd, I don't know what you're saying here. Mike, Todd, I don't know what you're saying here. We're talking money because it's the economy, because they passed this budget yesterday. How is it not relevant? We're talking now. We're talking about what it is and where it's going. And what we're willing to do, which most people aren't, is we're telling you what we think is going to happen. If I'm wrong, if Joe's wrong, you call us out. You got it in video. You've got it in video because we're not afraid.
I'm into
Bring your
facts.
people in. Right.
Let's look at where we were January 20th and where we are today, where we are
McLean, it
next
doesn't
month,
matter.
and let's see who's right. That's all.
But-
If inflation goes up, we were right. If inflation doesn't go up, we were wrong. If the gas price is up, we're right. Gas price is down, we're wrong. If the price of groceries is up, we're right. If it's down, we're wrong.
And
We'll let the
McLean,
data decide. That's all.
yeah, but McLean, but look what happens. 4 years has nothing to do with it. We've had budget deficits and had them go away over years. That's not the issue. Today is 2025. Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump has a House and Senate to do anything he wants. It's his job to take care of. I don't care what happened 4 years ago. How about 6 years ago when he led the riot at the Capitol, right? When he brought that on. But we're not talking about that because it doesn't matter. All that matters is now. And now, what is he doing? Nothing but breaking the economy. That's the bottom line. LFG, what is that? What is that?
I don't know, LFG. Laughing
LFG.
FG.
LFG.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're
You have to spell
FIFs.
that out.
I still can't say it. We're FIFs.
That's
Nobody's
no
blaming Trump for Bidenomics, Melanie. This is Trumponomics. Laying people off, throwing them out, talking about putting vaccines in chickens, letting prices go up, putting tariffs, or at least threatening people with tariffs, backing our enemies, they're taking out our friends. That doesn't sound like Bidenomics to me. That sounds to me like we're in trouble, and that has nothing to do with Biden.
But don't you remember when Biden was pushing tariffs, Mark?
No, yeah, I remember that.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah, he pushed it. The ones we had. That was
when he
it.
got Canada upset and Mexico upset and abandoned our allies in Europe. Don't you remember that part?
I remember it. Melanie, laid off with 8 months severance. What about the health care? You think they all have health care? How do you know he's going to pay the 8 months severance? How do you know that's what's happening? How do you know they can ever get a job?
That saves a lot of money. Simple. People paying severance for 8 months, that saves a lot of money and getting no work.
Mike, you're right. And now Trump wants to raise it $4 additional trillion, the Republicans in the budget. That's what they passed yesterday. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Okay, it is broke. That's where it is. So Todd pulled his thing back. Massachusetts is very expensive. I'll tell you that, Mike. There's no question. Of course, the United States is a major debtor, but of course we're going to be. Why? Because we're the dollar. The dollar's what everybody uses.
What percent of the budget goes to just pay the interest on the
loan? I think there's more that goes pays the interest than Doge can cut out.
It's like 25% or so, something like that.
Yeah, so whatever they said the numbers were, Doge can't even come close to the amount of money we're paying on interest. So what good does that do? You got to say, I mean, we got to clean things up, but we got to take care of where the problems are and go into the problems. And the way to do it is not to push us into a recession or into stagflation. And that's the whole problem.
And Mike, I do agree with you there. It is every administration. Although, if you go back and look at the federal deficit and add up how much it went up under Democratic administrations versus Republican administrations, the ratio is about 50-1 that it goes up for Republican administrations versus Democratic administrations.
And Clinton had a balanced budget.
Clinton had a balanced
budget. But you see, I don't want to go back to where it was. You see, they want to pull us, which is great news for us. They want to take us back. But I don't want to go. The problem is we have the problem now. And you have to look at the budget, Mike. And all of you look at it. Lost, man, jobs. How many bosses do we need working? I don't think you understand. Just, Todd, you got to do things, but you don't just come in and start slicing and lie about what you're slicing and lie about you're saying your savings. That's what they've been doing. They've been lying. They come in, they go pop, 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 squash. Oh, this is out, nuclear here, USDA there. Oh, how about the top 5 things they found that they save money on? They pulled them all. Come on, Todd. If it worked right and they did it right, I'm with you. But they didn't do it right. They did it wrong. Either way, and they're doing it wrong. Because to them, they don't care. They don't care. People don't matter. They want you to believe it. All that matters is the cash. C-A-S-H. C-A-S-H. Cash. What can I tell you? Either way, we love all you guys. It's Wednesday. We're gonna see you Sunday. We'll have our album of the week. We'll have everything. We're rocking. We'll be going. This is fun. I love y'all. Even though we don't agree with some of you, right on. We appreciate you coming in. Please, 11 o'clock Sunday. Go to Just American Citizen. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to Joe Talks.
I have
Dr.
one
B, Joe
subscriber.
Talks. What?
One subscriber.
One. Let's give him one. We got to get him some.
Come on.
And go for it. Thank you, Smarticus and everybody. We love you. We'll see you Sunday. And what did Walter say? That's the way it is.
Period.
Period. See you later.